Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends of all ages, welcome to the latest installment of Days with Davo. My name's Davo, and these are your days. Hopefully, they're not absolutely terrible. But I think they're about to get brighter because I have with me one of my most favorite people in the whole world. I will tell you right now that this was the this is a second installment of us trying to do a podcast. Last weekend we tried to do it while he was down in Texas at a park, and it was super laggy. And to quote him, that was shit. So we're gonna completely revamp it. We've both got Wi-Fi, and I think we're gonna roll. So without further ado, let me introduce you, my good friend Seth. Seth, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for joining us on Days with Davo.
Hey, thank you so much. I love how professional you look in your studio.
The studio is actually let me throw it out there. It's my wife's magic room that she allowed me to put a desk in, and we call it our studio. So yeah, but it's all good. I love it, man. It's what I do. It's how I do it. It's no real production value to it. It's me with a laptop and a microphone and a camera and letting people know how much they disappoint me on the internet. So
That is amazing.
yeah,
And
right.
and to that very point, something that I've thought a lot about, and you kind of riffed on this at one point. We were talking about even doing this. Was that, man? I just kind of let it go, and we see what happens.
Yeah,
There's no prettiness to it, and I think
no.
that is the absolute problem with so many of these today. It has
Oh,
become
for
such
sure.
a curtailed media
Yep,
source,
yep. Well,
and everybody vies in that. And I'm all about the grit and just having
oh
a
yeah,
conversation with some people.
yeah, and that's just it, dude. It's just a conversation. It's a chat, and especially, it's kind of funny because Facebook likes to remind you all the time of how, especially, I mean, you have little kids, especially how old your kids are now, and they're like, hey, remember this 5 years ago? I'm like, oh my god, and it pulls at the heartstrings, and I was like, oh, look how little my boy or my girl was. And but today they actually reminded me, 1 year ago today I did my very first interview style podcast with Tim Canada.
Oh my God. Blast from the
Yeah.
past, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. How is that guy?
He's the best, dude. Tim doesn't change. Tim's awesome. So when I first started this
Where
podcast, I
is he?
remember he's actually in the Brookfields. He's like literally like 20 minutes away from where I am right now.
That's
I
awesome.
want to, yeah, I want to say he kind of floated around a little bit. He went to UMass, and I, God, now I feel freaking terrible because I should know exactly what he did. But I think he kind of moved around a little bit, but for the most part, he kind of stayed pretty local, and he's doing the local thing. And I want to say he does something with like a construction firm. He is like a planner or something like that. Like, does very well. And
Right on.
yeah, I almost kind of feel like he does stuff with rescues, like rescue dogs and stuff like that, which is admirable. That's absolutely amazing.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yep. Yeah. So, but yeah, so it was a year ago I did with him because when I first started this podcast, he had said to me, I put it out there. I was like, hey, I'm thinking about launching a podcast. I'm just looking to get weird. And that was the whole thing. It was, I think it was Navigating Your Days with Davo when I first started it. And then I just
Hmm.
shortened it to Days with Davo. And I was like, hey, I'm looking to get weird and just talk about weird stuff, aliens, pyramids, what have you. And he was the first person to comment. And he's like, dude, let me know. I want to get weird with you. I'm like, all right. So when it came time, at first I just did the solo things and sort of just went into a couple things that interested me. And then I was like, hey, if you're ready, we can do this. And we did it. And we did it just like we are right now. And it was probably like
Yep.
30, 45 minutes. And it was awesome, man. It was cool. And I always said to myself, I was like, I want to do more interview style podcasts. Like some of the people, like, I don't have a whole lot of people that really like tune in, but people that I work with and stuff like that, they've all said to me like, dude, that's one of your best ones you've had. It was spot on, and I was like, I got to do more interview ones. And that was a year ago. So here we are.
Now here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Always the procrastinator. So, but it's
Meh,
all
hey,
good. Yeah.
that's yeah, it ultimately, whereas these things start as kind of just a for fun,
Yeah.
unless you viably put
Sure.
true effort into it, and then it just
Yeah.
becomes another job.
Yeah.
So take your pick of what you want.
Oh, trust me, dude. I wish I could do this for a job. Someday, let's hope I get some sponsors and I can do this full time and I can just sit in this corner and, just have conversations. But until then,
This is called cross promotional information, right? So
yeah,
we both have networks and just keep pushing it.
exactly. Yep, exactly. Speaking of cross promotional, shameless plug, first of all, if you can see, I'm wearing the Moonlit Forest shirt. Days with
Yes.
Davo is brought to you by the Moonlit Forest. You can find the Moonlit Forest on 130 Main Street in Munson, Massachusetts. Follow her. That's my wife's shop. Follow her. Check out her whole social media presence. It's awesome. You can find out when the shop's open and maybe sign up for a class and get all that janky energy out because we all know everyone's got a little janky energy here and there. So, all right.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, yeah, right. All right. So, we got the business side out of the way. Let's get back into what we were talking about when we did it the first time. I think I kind of just wanted you to start from, last time we really saw each other was high school until I think I saw you briefly at my mom's funeral. But other than that, we really haven't, our paths haven't
Right.
crossed too much. We've kind of been doing our own thing. So why don't you just, first of all, tell people where they can follow you, like after this is all over, if they want to
Oh
follow
yeah.
you, see what you do, stuff like that. Drop your socials. I'll put them in the show notes anyway. But if you just want to throw them out there, that'd be great.
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, obviously by my name, that's super easy, Seth Wytrwal. And then I'm on Instagram as Sethro2. And I'm under another header, Stami.nation, and then with my business coaching instruments. So I'm in any one of those places.
Okay, cool.
And we'll
Yep,
definitely tag those in the show notes.
yep. All right. So why don't you tell us on this journey from, let's say, graduation from
Start
high
from the
school
start.
to where
Yeah.
you are now? Sure.
That was, first of all, as we kind of alluded to the last time we chatted, was that was a long time ago. And here we are. Yeah, you also said that I have two small children. I do. I have a 4-year-old boy and a 6-year-old boy, and they're super fun. We literally just got back from a bike ride over to get soft serve ice cream, which was amazing.
Oh, dude, nothing better than that, right?
Yeah. So that first warm day, and there's a line of 20 people out the door. And
Yeah, yeah. Are you
so,
in Canada?
yes. So currently residing in Quebec,
Okay.
halfway between Montreal and Quebec City.
Yeah.
Did a 2-year stint down in Texas in the Dallas Fort Worth area prior to this.
Okay.
And then COVID, the weirdness, I was here. That's kind of where this journey starts, but I'll back up all the way to after graduation was many years back,
Right.
and ultimately relocated to Denver and was there for 8 or 9 years. I forget. I think it was 2008, 2009 when I came back to Massachusetts ultimately. But my time in Denver, I was doing I was there for undergrad. I
Hmm.
worked, was in undergrad. I went to the University of Colorado, the Denver campus. I did a year at the University of Denver, worked for a professor there in a lab. So doing a lot of field research work and got to travel a bunch, which was amazing. A lot of work in the laboratory as well as out in the field. So
Okay. Cool.
it was
Uh,
something.
yeah. When you say lab work, like what kind of stuff were you into?
So the lab that I was working in was considered a biogeochemistry lab. And so biology based geography and chemistry. So
Okay.
to make it simple was the professor that I worked for had a lot of US Forest Service type grants and National Institutes of Science.
Sure.
And so USGIS, different organizations out of the government, where
Yeah.
we would go out and do, specifically in Colorado, we did some work in Utah, California, and then I
Yep.
also worked on a project in Costa Rica.
Ooh.
But where I'm going with this is that we collected soil samples,
Okay.
sometimes post either on mountainsides at different elevations, um, also in Colorado, Utah, and California. The premise of it was we were looking at different soil layers deep, at different either patterns of agricultural slash and burn and or growth cycles in plants and along mountainsides or in the desert, and seeing, one, if there was evidence of ancient agriculture at different places. So this was in Costa Rica or um, out in Utah. But then we were also looking at what the effects of burning plants like invasive species was doing in the soil, and whether it was a ways to reintroduce native species to help take back over otherwise areas that had been invaded for livestock and different things. So we were
Oh
looking at
wow.
burn rates and getting carbon samples, so any ash or condensed firewood. So like in Costa
Mm-hmm.
Rica, people had history of slash and burn agriculture, and so we'd go down in the soil and try and find areas of carbon residue, and then get radiocarbon data to look at, see, how old is this forest that has regrown on top,
Oh, okay. That
and therefore the
is
proliferation of
super
the forest
interesting.
and what the turnover rate was, and it was quite interesting.
Really? And you didn't want to kind of progress with that? No. It seems
Well,
interesting. That's why I ask.
it was fascinating. So I worked on quite a few different undergraduate, master's degree, and PhD projects, just as kind of field work. And I was a research assistant in the lab, so I did a lot of, collecting soil, washing it down to like basic elements. We shipped it off. We did
Okay.
chemistry work in the lab, putting it into the machine and getting it burned off, and looking at the residual gases and things. So it was all sorts of. Now I just had my name is there in like the credits for like the dude who helped out, nothing more.
So when
And I'm
they take
totally okay with that.
yeah, so when they take all this biological research and make it into a biological weapon for the United States, your name will be right down at the bottom. Yes. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
This guy dug it up out the dirt.
That a boy. All
Literally.
right. Cool. All right. What came
No, it's
next?
absolutely fascinating. But like trajectory wise,
Yeah.
I'd always been into science per se, and
Yeah.
then I did my undergrad in more or less pre-medical biology, and then
Okay.
right at the end, I took a hard left and finished my degree in geography, and so
Really?
I just
Yeah,
switched
that
from
is a
to a
hard
different
left.
different spot.
That is a hard left.
Yeah. So like it went from physiologic science and like humans and animals to earth sciences, and so I did geography and meteorology and geology work. But ultimately, so fast forward to where I am today as a
Hmm.
chiropractor, it was like it did have a purpose. It was really fascinating work
Okay.
because I did some stuff, and this was all at the undergrad level, so I never progressed to the
Hmm.
master's degree level, at least in that vein. But where I found it interesting was the cross pollination of being able to look at overlay maps in cities of different like disaster regions. So,
Oh,
like
cool.
if an area is subject to flooding or tornadoes, or um, take your pick of hurricanes, right?
Sure. Sure.
Natural disaster, you can look at these
Yeah.
overlays of maps to see where people are most susceptible to things, or how and where to move them. But then I finished my degree in health sciences in that undergrad, kind of a pre-med biology route, but I ultimately ended up going to chiropractic school. But I also have a background in, I was in the ski patrol in high school, and
Hmm.
I continued with that into Colorado. I went on to get my EMT. I worked in primary care. I also worked in strength and conditioning, and so like all these things culminated really nicely in a better understanding as I now navigate and work with patients on a daily
Sure.
basis as a chiropractor.
Okay. Cool, man. So you
This
have
big
a
mishmash of things.
the way I was going to put it, dude, you have a shit ton of feathers in your cap. So,
Mm-hmm. A
it,
couple.
yeah, yeah, no, I totally get that. It almost, especially like with what my wife does, it seems like every month, 2 months or so, she's taking a new online course, whether it's astrology, whether it's medical astrology, it's this or that,
Yep.
or Kundalini yoga. She's certified in like all these different things, and it's like you have this laundry list of stuff how you can help people on so many different levels, and I think that's just very cool.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love being able to, jive with people across so many facets of the world. It's really
Hmm.
fun. You just get to be a people person, really. I mean, that's
Sure.
ultimately what it is.
Okay. Yep. Where did you get licensed for chiropractic? Where'd you go to school for that?
So I went to what was formerly New York Chiropractic College in upstate New York. So it was
Okay.
in the little town of Seneca Falls,
Yep.
which, if you know upstate New York, is in the Finger Lakes region. It's between Rochester and Syracuse.
Okay. Well,
But
I do
the
now.
most famous
Yeah.
landmark would be we're on the same lake as Cornell,
Okay.
which is down in Ithaca.
Yep.
And so we were literally on the same lake 40 miles north. So that lake is massive. And so
Okay.
Seneca Falls sits at the north end of the lake and Ithaca's at the south end of the lake.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you said if you know upstate New York at all. I do not. I also don't know my town very well. Like when it comes to like geography, it doesn't matter if it's the United States or it's Canada or it's like I'm constantly asking people. I was like, yeah, I don't know. People in town. We've lived here since 2019, Seth, and people will be like, oh yeah, I live off Bethel Road. I was like, I have no idea where that is, dude. I know my road. I know Main Street. I know how to get to work. Sometimes I have to put my GPS on just to get me there. All right. So when it
All
comes
right.
to
All right.
geography, treat me like I'm a 6-year-old because I couldn't tell you where it is or where it falls. Like just a funny little anecdote. So what I do for a job mainly is I do buying, receiving for a wire company, right? And
Yes.
ever since this new administration has taken over, tariffs on top of tariffs have made my life a miserable effing hell. So I'm always trying to like navigate all this stuff. So now with the war in Iran and that whole strait being closed, now we get a lot of our wire from Turkey, and I was like, all right, well, Turkey's not that from Iran. I know that much, and I was like, do they take their ships down the Strait of Hermaz or whatever it's called, the strait that the blockade is at? And I had to ask people. I was like, dude, is this an issue? And they're like, no, no, no. They'll just go out the Mediterranean way. You're good. And I'm like, all right. Well, I need to ask these questions, right?
It does make a difference. Hey, the
Yeah,
world is like when it needs to be big, it's really big. When it's all of a sudden
sure.
really small, it's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
really affects me, and it's not that far away.
dude. That's a great analogy. Perfect. Yep.
So I want to bring up real quick though that you just alluded
Mm-hmm.
to, which I think is incredible. Right? Let's flash back to high school, Dave. Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember, and your lack of geographical knowledge though,
Sure.
arbitrary road driving, and
Oh
also
yeah.
Tim
Oh yeah.
Canada?
Yes,
So
exactly. Yeah.
just so those words make sense if you put them
Yeah.
together and think about it.
So,
But
so
we would literally on weekend nights
mm-hmm.
get in the car and say, let's just go take some turns. And in the
Yep.
pitch black forests of central Massachusetts, where there
Yep.
are no road lights,
Try to get
and we
lost.
would be in and just try to get lost
Yeah.
and just start turning and see where we ended up. Like all of a
Yep.
sudden you pop out and you go, oh, I know where we are.
Yeah.
Then you can go home.
Dude, it was mid to late 90s. You had no GPS. You had no way of finding your way back. So you
Mm-mm.
took all these left turns on back roads, left, rights, yada yada yada. Yeah. Tim Canada and I believe Phil Dixon, like
Yes.
those guys coined that term,
Yep.
arbitrary road driving, and we adapted
Yep.
it. And yeah, it's actually funny because I talked about a year ago when we did the podcast with Tim, we brought up arbitrary road driving, and he said that
Yes.
I feel like his nephew he's brought out and done arbitrary road driving, like he taught him to arbitrary road drive, so it's still alive and well. So
Shut
yeah.
the GPS off and just
Yeah.
try to figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Shot in the dark, man. So, nah, that's awesome.
Ooh,
That's a great story, dude. I totally forgot about
so fun. The
that shit.
white Plymouth that your mom had,
Oh, the Sundance.
Yes.
Yeah, Plymouth Sundance. Oh yeah. I feel like it's funny because I get nostalgic about a lot of stuff, and then I look back and I was like, oh man, I was kind of an asshole. I destroyed that car. Like, we would take it off, jump some back roads, and oh man, I don't know how the suspension nailed it, but please bring back the Plymouth Sundance. That was a tank of a car. You could not kill it.
We were asshole kids. We were teenagers, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. No, all good and fun. I mean, we weren't going out to hurt anyone, but we definitely did
Well,
not take.
exactly.
Yeah, we did
This
not.
was truly, legitimately like mischief without
Yep.
any ill intent
Exactly.
whatsoever.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And probably safer than what some of our other friends were doing at the time. So
What could have been and what was very, very different.
yeah. Oh, for sure, dude.
Oh.
For sure.
So anyway, yeah, like upstate New York. So you asked about where, right? So
Yep.
when I met my now wife in school, and so hence living in Quebec, she is from Quebec, and so her
Mm,
family all lives up here.
yeah.
We both, while we were in school, I took my Canadian boards a little bit later, but she, through school, simultaneously took all of her board examinations for the US and Canada. And so I
Okay.
took all my US boards and then a little bit later took my Canadian, but got them all done so that if this was prior to getting married and prior to kids and all, we
Yep.
had the thought process, which if we stay together, whichever country we end up in will be fine. And so
Mm-hmm.
that worked out well because I've had my license in Massachusetts, Texas. She's had her Texas license. We've both had Quebec licenses, and so yeah, we've been able to practice in both countries.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you met your wife at chiropractic school.
Yep.
Uh, isn't it funny? Like I always think of the way that the universe works because I'm very big on I mean, Days with Davo is obviously a conspiracy podcast. I talk a lot of weird stuff, but I also like to get into like spiritual realm, the universe, gods, goddesses, like everything involved there. But I also like to get into interesting stuff. And I mean, and that's why we're talking today because you are a super interesting person, and I wanted to have this conversation. So it is interesting. But we're getting back into like the spiritual side of it. Is the universe does what the universe is going to do 100% all
Mm-hmm.
the time, always. And so when it gets down to all the different roads that you took brought you to upstate New York to meet your wife. You understand where I'm coming from? Like it's
It's
like
the
you
arbitrary road driving of life.
exactly of life, arbitrary road driving of life. Like you don't
Yeah.
really understand how did I end up here or why did I end up here, but there's a
Yep.
reason why you ended up there.
And you only can look back in retrospect, right? Because in the moment you have no idea. Even this idea of there is only the now.
Yep.
So beware. The best laid plans. Plans are cool. They're
Yep.
amazing. Like have at
Sure.
least some level of an idea or a vision of a
Yeah.
direction.
Sure.
But the reality is, it's okay if it doesn't have any semblance of that whatsoever. You'll be where you're
I
supposed to
love it.
be.
I love it. Yep. Perfect, dude. Yep. Right on board. 100%. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
plans are good. It's good to make plans, but you know what? Like I just said, the universe is going to do what the universe is going to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
yep,
Yeah. We're along for the ride.
exactly. Yeah, right. All right, so you get licensed. You're down in. So after you got your license, did you guys go to Texas before you came to Quebec?
So no, all right. I'll tell you a fun COVID story because I think everybody's got one, right? Like where you were in
Everybody's
life,
got
and
one.
yeah. Um. So this is 2019, right? So
Yep.
we finished school beginning of 28, end of 2017, beginning of 2018. So I went back to grad school later on. Totally fine, whatever. Again, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump back on a rant for a second here, but anybody who thinks they have a plan coming straight out of like high school, let it go. Like, like kids are so susceptible to the shitty plans of their parents, and
Oh yeah.
driven in directions that they have
Yeah.
no desire or true necessity or reason for them doing it, and they
Yeah.
kind of
Oh yeah.
just they get lost, and then all of a sudden they're in their mid 20s or late 20s going, "Fuck did I do?" Which is fine. I mean, we all do it. I don't care what age you
Yeah.
are. That stuff
Oh sure.
happens, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the sooner you can figure out that there is no one set path, the better off
Yeah.
you're going to be.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. And it's kind of funny that you talk about your parents' best laid plans and stuff like that. So I go to lunch with my wife earlier, and our sister and my brother-in-law, her brother, um, and on our way back, where I don't know, we just get into conversations all the time about because she's real big on like trauma, like all the stuff that you have is all related to trauma, and a lot of it is related to like childhood trauma, and why
Yeah.
you do the things you do is always kind of related to childhood trauma. And so like we're always talking childhood trauma because no one had a perfect childhood growing up. Your parents, each one of them is going to mess you up in some way possible. Like like one of them is going to do something that's going to mess you up in a certain way, but it makes you who you are. So the whole thing that we were going after is like I myself for the longest time was like a people pleaser, like always
Mm-hmm.
constantly like trying to do whatever I could to make sure people were happy with this, and even if it like was not what I wanted to do or it suited me in any way, I needed to make sure that I almost it was I was like a doormat. I'm like, oh no, it's fine, whatever, as long as you're good, you know. And as I grew older, it takes a while to kind of get out of that and
Yeah.
become just like assertive in yourself and be like, well, no, we're not going to do that because I just don't want to. Like, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? And, but it all relates to childhood trauma. So, like, how you grow and how you become the person you are always relates some way back to childhood trauma. Do you agree? Yes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. It's always interesting, and it, you see people of all veins, and that's totally cool. I'm usually my statement I like recently is I am not here to judge,
Yep.
but I do want to ask some questions,
Oh, for sure, dude.
right?
Yeah.
And if for nothing else, and I don't want to come off as an asshole, but sometimes
Sure.
I want to get your reasoning as to what and why you're doing that. And
Sure.
sometimes that can be an affront, and it's
Well,
not meant to be that way, but like just
oh, for
poke
sure.
holes in your own, because we all know we get annoyed when somebody else does that to what our reasoning is
Sure.
really,
Yep.
because I wanted to. And
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
totally valid reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think it is. No, as a chiropractor, you must kind of like want to ask those questions, you know, because people with like stress really screw up their back and their neck and their shoulders and stuff like that. Correct?
All the time,
Yeah. And that's
myself
a lot
included.
of it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Me too, dude. And that's a lot of it. Or like, say you've never been really confident because then again, childhood trauma, you know, you don't have the self-confidence to carry yourself. So you're kind of slouched over like this all the time. And
Yeah.
that causes, you know, your posture is just absolutely terrible. Yes.
Yep.
Yep. But that's where you come in to fix them. Yes.
I'd like to think so. I'd like to, and also I try and I am I can do what I can do to you and for you, but what I
Yeah.
also really want to try and get across when I'm dealing with people is
Yeah.
it's one, a development of a relationship, and
Okay.
also getting people to do for themselves. It
Yeah.
is not I can only
Exactly.
do so much, and
Yep.
that adage of like you can lead a horse to water, but you
Yep.
cannot make it
Can't
drink. And
make him
so
drink.
you can throw these things at people, but you can't force them to do anything. I will give you all of the best knowledge and information that I can
Yep.
possibly do, but at some point you gotta like take the reins or give them a little push off the cliff.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You know, I believe back in like Norse mythology, when it comes to like Vikings and stuff, that's what they used to do to their elders. They would just throw them off a cliff. They get to a certain age where it's like, okay, we're going to sacrifice you to Odin. See ya. We need good crops this year. Bye. To an extent. I mean, it's not just like once you get a gray hair, you're going off the cliff. But
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Life expectancy was a little shorter back then.
It most certainly was. Yeah, you probably didn't get any gray hair. All right, so let's fast forward a little bit to
real quick. I was gonna say my weird COVID
my bad.
moment.
Yep.
So here we are, like 18, 19. I go back to practice in Massachusetts, and Sarah goes back to practice because her sister was pregnant, and she was going to take over for her sister for a year because she was going to go on maternity leave. And in Canada, you can have a year maternity leave. It's amazing.
That's bananas.
Right? And so we make this decision. Cool, I'm going to be in Massachusetts. You're going to be there. We're going to be away from each other, but long distance, it's fine. We can drive back and forth. It's really not that bad. Cool. Mm-hmm. So we are moving down the road of getting married anyway. This is mid 2019. Like, we get engaged, we're getting married. Yep. She gets pregnant. So what? We're stoked, but this is literally we get married in December of 2019, and then our son is slated to be born in March of 2020, which is essentially when the world is going to shut down.
Freeze. Yeah, it's going to take a pause.
And we're watching the news happen, and everybody's watching this bizarre news cycle of things ramping up around the world. Yep. And it's beginning of March, and the question mark of whether the border is going to close back and forth. And we travel over the border every week or two.
Oh, Jesus.
In northern Vermont. So we're watching this, and I think it was literally Friday the 13th in March of 2020. And I leave the office, and I'm like, I am leaving, and I don't know if I'm coming back to the woman working at my front desk. And sure enough, I got over the border on Friday evening. Sunday, the border shut down. I had to make frantic phone calls to basically shut my office down. It went dormant. Didn't have a choice.
Wow.
Couldn't get back into the country because my wife is pregnant, and Liam was born. Our first son was born on March 31st.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so it was within 2 weeks of me getting there that my son's born. So had I not gotten over, it would have been a question mark of whether I had gotten in at all and been here for it.
Whoa. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Wow. So all's well that ends well, but man, it was a bizarre time to go back and forth and try and get over the border, man. You literally roll up and there is no one at the border. It was an absolute ghostly. The couple of times that I did have to go back and forth in 2020, I had levels of capability only because I could say, hi, I'm married and have children and have to get back and forth to 2 different countries. That was about it.
Holy shit, dude. Wow. Very apocalyptic, I can imagine the border looked during that whole time.
Dude. Yeah. Bizarre.
Yeah. It was bizarre. I was forced to work during the whole thing, so I was what they call an essential employee because my company makes medical wire and government wire. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to face it. So
government affiliation, man. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Rock and roll. All right. So let's fast forward a little bit past the plague that tried to wipe us all out. We both made it. Thank God. What are part of me wanting to throw this podcast at you was watching some of your stuff on social media, and I can remember sitting there and like looking on my phone. I was like, does this dude ever take a goddamn day off? Jesus Christ. So I see you like doing Instagram stories and reels and this and that, and I was like, dude, Iron Man, what is he doing now? So why don't you walk us through what you do with training people for triathlons?
All right, this is super fun. So yes, I am and have remained as active. So always played soccer and ran. We skateboarded. I
Yep.
grew up water skiing and wakeboarding and things.
Yeah.
Snowboarding,
Yep.
like part of my life. It's still a
Sure.
part of my life. I am currently slowed only due to injury, but
Oh wow.
even that, like I've been able to get on my bike. I was on my mountain bike today. I went out for a little
Yep.
bit of a road ride with my wife yesterday just to
Cool.
start to feel some things out because I hurt my back of all things. The
Oh
irony there
shit.
is palpable, but it's okay.
That's like a plumber having leaky pipes.
Exactly.
Okay.
But Noah, I have I'd always wanted to try triathlon since God, even back in high school. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until because I've always ridden a bike, I've
Yeah.
always been in the water, and I've always run. I just never put
Mm-hmm.
them together. And it wasn't until 2015, I want to say, that
Yeah.
my wife's dad really taught me how to swim a little bit from like point to point, which is very different
Okay.
than just swimming around in the water, like actually
Sure.
trying to swim. We never had swim teams, at
No.
least where you and I went to high school. We didn't have a swim team. You had to travel for that.
Yeah. I
And
used to
so,
tell people all the time that I was part of the water polo team, but that was all bullshit. That was just me being a bullshit artist. But other than that, no swim team
love it.
per se.
Yeah. So I finally tried a triathlon and I've been doing them since, and I've done pretty much every distance. Like when we had two young kids, I trained for a full Ironman
Ooh,
distance race, which is super fun. But
yeah,
along the way, in the same vein of like this amalgamation of all the things that I've done in life, pretty much every sport that I've been involved with, I've also
yeah.
ended up teaching to some degree.
Okay,
And it's not that to say that I'm some amazing uh, participant in any one of them. I just had
yeah,
some knack and capability and really enjoyed passing along knowledge and capability,
sure,
right?
yeah,
And so when the opportunity came up to go ahead, like you were saying with your wife, to
yep,
pursue this thing a little bit deeper and get some greater knowledge base and actually be able to pass that along, it really came into focus. And I've loved it, especially in conjunction with being a chiropractor, because a bunch of the patients that I serve are athletes of sorts. I mean, everybody's an athlete, right? In their own respect. Everybody
sure.
does
Oh yeah,
something that is athletically inclined enough that they have to move their body, get something done.
yeah. Okay,
So I work with two iterations, two things, two distinct entities. One, TriDot, my hat, is the programming engine that deciphers the planning. And
okay,
so it helps to create the programming for someone. So it's like, think of GPS for your fitness and endeavors. So you basically
yep,
plug in a goal of a race, whenever that is. Let's say right now, Dave, you have a race in October. So we plug
yep,
that race in, it backtracks and says, okay, where Dave is today based on your fitness and skill set in swimming,
yep,
biking, and running, we will have an executable plan for that time frame.
yep.
Cool. And so that helps to really guide people in the right directions. And secondarily is a company that I work with, a friend of mine. He started it and then invited me on to be kind of head coach, called Coaching Instruments.
Okay,
And so we're taking and we have group coaching as well as one-on-one coaching where we take and implement these plans, and you have me at your disposal to be guidance along the way for all the intangible things and the stuff that's going to come up, how to do and actually move from a training aspect into a racing aspect. What is your goal? Are we going for some level of a time goal? Are we want to make a podium? Are we trying to get a world championship type slot if we're
sure,
racing a particular, event or distance? Or do you just want to finish? Like those are very wildly different things. And
yep,
so I'm here to help guide and navigate that along the way.
yeah. Cool.
Hmm.
Now I would like to think that your idea for becoming involved in what you're doing now came from a much earlier time, and I'm not going to say that you didn't pick it up from your father-in-law teach you how to swim, but I believe back in high school there was a 4x1 team that really sparked your interest into the Ironman triathlon sort of things. Why don't you tell the viewers at Days with Davo where you first got your idea on what you wanted to do?
What one of the most inspirational sporting moments I've ever witnessed, and I got to witness it for a couple of years. Yes. Uh, so you and I started to talk about this the last time we tried this,
We
right?
did, we did. I had to bring it back in. It's too good not to share.
And I was literally I've had this conversation. I can't tell you how many times over the years in reference to you go to something like a triathlon, and everybody has
Sure,
this. I swear a burned image, whether you're involved in the sport, mostly people that aren't involved, you have a
yeah,
wildly different vantage
sure,
point.
sure.
But there is no one type of athlete for any endeavor, and I can
No.
swear to this because in what you are referring to in high school on the track team, I've never been more impressed by yourself. And who did we say it was? You, Phil Dixon, Bill Kennedy.
Sorry.
Yeah, shout outs here.
Hold for the applause. It was me. It was Phil Dixon, Bill Kennedy, and Tim Norden.
Tim Norton. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
affectionately referred to, maybe self. Did you
I don't know who coined the phrase. I don't think it was myself. I mean, if you ask my wife, I take credit for a lot of the stuff she comes up with because I'm a bit of a trendsetter. But no, I can't say I don't think I coined this one. I wish I had, but uh,
All right.
most
Well,
notably as
yes, you guys were the dump truck relay.
yeah, the dump truck
And
relay.
so all of our big field dudes that were our discus throwers and shot putters, almost every meet put together a 4x100 team, which you guys, almost every meet blew people away with how fast you actually were.
Oh yeah,
Like
we
it
could move,
never
dude.
ceases to
Yeah.
amaze me.
No, we were heavy set dudes. We were, muscular, heavy set dudes that threw the shot put and grunted a bunch. But we were like the 4x1 B team. And every once
Yeah.
in a while, we would score a point or so our for our track team when it was sort of just something that was thrown out there, like, hey, go at it. But there were a few times where we almost beat other teams' A teams because we were like
Oh
the
yeah.
B team. And I think they were probably dazzled a bit when they lined up against us and they saw that bright pink baton come racing by their head.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you lined up on the track and people definitely looked at it and were like, "What is this? What's going
Yeah.
on?"
Yeah.
And
And
that
then we
that
can
gun
move,
goes
man.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gun goes off, man. You guys were like cannonballs out of a cannon for
We could
sure.
move. Yep, we could move.
Mhm.
So, yep. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to think that that's where you got your idea of wanting to progress into Ironman competitions. That's probably where it all started. Uh, so for people that don't,
Athleticism at its finest.
for people that don't really know about Ironman competitions or triathlons, what is involved? Like how much running, how much biking, how much swimming do you have to do?
So let's be clear. Iron Man, what people understand it as, it really is a brand. It's a name.
Yep.
Now, the distances can be varied. There's things that are shorter. So there's a sprint distance, and sprints can vary. There's no set like
Mm-hmm.
distance on a sprint, but we'll call one out. It's
Sure.
about 750 meters of swimming. So about I don't know, 600 yards or so. Am I doing my math correctly? No, meters are longer than
Sure.
yards. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's short, right? It's
Yeah.
short. We're talking a quarter mile ish,
Okay.
give or take. 15 ish miles on a bike, and then a
Okay.
5K run, which is 3.1 miles. And so those vary a little bit, depending
Yeah.
where you go. They can be in a pool. They can be outdoor swimming. They can be,
Okay.
anyway.
Yeah.
The Olympic distance, which is truly, it is what you see when you watch triathlon in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And it is the 900-meter swim. It is 40 kilometers or 25 miles on the bike and a 10K run or 6.2-mile run,
Okay.
right? And it's always in that order. It's going to be swimming first, it's going to be biking second, and it's going to be running third.
Yeah.
They are done consecutively. The transition spots are in between. So literally, you come out of the swim, you put on your biking stuff, you get on your bike, you go bike, you come back into a transition area, you put your bike back in the rack, you put on your run stuff, you take off and you run. So 1, 2, 3 disciplines with a quick transition in between each. Cumulative time. Then when it steps up from there, and again, there's all sorts of bizarre races that have in between distances, but the more traditional ones are sprint, Olympic. Then there is the half Ironman or 70.3 distance. 70.3 just refers to total mileage of 70 miles or 70.3 miles, where that's a 1.2 mile swim. It is 56 miles on the bike, and then a half marathon or 13.1 mile run.
Whoa. That's insane.
From that point, it doubles.
Yeah. Really?
Half Ironman to full Ironman distance.
Yeah.
Full Ironman distance being 2.4 mile swim.
Yeah.
112 miles on the bike, and then a 26.2 full distance marathon.
Jesus Christ, man. I can't even. Have you done a full Ironman?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
What is the percentage of people shitting themselves during a full Ironman?
It's a lot.
That's what say exactly. A lot of people don't realize when it comes to like marathon runners and stuff, like the majority of them are going to shit themselves.
Pooping happens for sure. Hopefully not at inopportune times. Hopefully you've managed to find a porta potty, but I have seen varying derivations of that instance many times.
Yeah. That's insane. Dude, so the one that you were just at in Texas, I swear I saw a clip of this. I think it was a woman running with no shoes. Is that right? Did you hear about this?
Yes. Yeah.
And someone like gave her their shoes?
Yep.
Yeah. What was that all about? Why did she have no shoes, first of all?
So I saw this clip at just earlier this week, actually.
Yeah.
She was running, and she was actually, this is like, we go back to that, what I briefly talked about with like, what are your goals and what are your aspirations? This woman was actually legitimately vying for world championship slots, and she was up on her competition by a lot, but you don't always know.
Okay.
Her shoe broke, like the whole sole detached.
Whoa.
And so it was only holding on by literally the forefront of her shoe. And so she took them off to run. And a volunteer at one of the aid stations, and this was pretty early on in the run, a volunteer at one of the aid stations managed to look quick at the size of her shoes and his shoes and determined they were about the same size, and just voluntarily said, I don't care, take them. This is more important to you for your race. And she tried to fight, like, oh, are you sure? He's like, take my shoes.
Yeah.
So she took the shoes and ended up winning her age group. And she found the dude afterwards and got him back his shoes, and they got pictures together. It was pretty awesome.
I think you bronze those shoes. I think those go in some sort of Hall of Fame. So she literally ran out of her goddamn shoes.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Bananas. Yep. Wow.
And I will briefly mention, and I don't love this, but this is another side of sport in general that I think, and I bring this up for a couple reasons because it's really disheartening, because you talked about earlier about the weird shit and people on the internet, right? Yep. And how easy it is to be a keyboard hero.
Oh, for sure.
A woman died in the swim.
I heard about that too, yeah.
Tragic. Absolutely. Tragic. Just end of statement. Tragic. By all means. She, in my cursory research, she was an experienced athlete. I don't know what was wrong. I can only ask questions. I cannot pontificate to any
Sure.
degree about what happened. I talked to a couple people that were in the swim and saw some level of melee happening
Okay.
there. Okay. Um, it's a part of sport,
Sure.
and I don't love it. I don't want it to be, but it is.
No.
And
Yeah.
I send nothing but the most love and condolences to that
Yeah.
family and the people
Yeah.
that were around her and the Ironman organization who has to,
Yeah.
you know, do all this stuff. And I
Sure.
just saw some pretty negative stuff online
Of course.
afterwards, and vitriol, not just from the lay population outside of the sport,
Hmm.
which I would understand more so, but there was stuff from inside the sport as well, and that one really threw me for a loop and left me scratching my head,
Mm.
and I didn't love that.
Dude, I guess when it really boils down to it, like, and it's not everyone, but I coin this term all the time. People are the worst. If you know what I mean, especially if
Yeah.
they don't have to like say it in front of you, if they can sit behind their computer and be like, you know, this or that, or it's like,
Mhm.
dude, you don't know, just shut up, just stop. Can we
Yeah.
not? Can we just
Yeah.
not? You know, there's certain times where like I just like look at stuff and I get into it. I was like, you know what? I have like a list of shit that just pisses me off because like certain people and and I like to be honest with you, I hope you're not one of these people, but the people that take a picture of their goddamn meals and put it on social media, I hate it. I absolutely
Nah.
fucking hate it. And I just say, can we not? So I almost want to like just like I don't know, change the name of the podcast to Can We Not? Can we just not? Can we not just talk about shit we don't know about? Can we not take pictures of our
Right.
food unless it's goddamn Thanksgiving? I don't want to see your turkey. It's just like,
Right.
but that's
Eh,
just me being
eh,
an old man and spitballing.
no, no, I get you because there's things that drive me nuts.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And look, I'm on the internet too, but I've made more and more of a conscious effort. Like you said, you saw stuff, and what I'm trying to
Sure.
put out there, and in this endeavor, and trying to
Yeah.
find my tribe of people and the people that I want to help navigate and achieve things in their life. While balance might not be the right word, because there's days that just shit happens, man. You ain't going to be able to train,
Nope.
or you're going to have this amazing day of training and no work gets done. Like, that's okay. It's the swing, or the kid's sick, or awesome. How do we still get to a goal feeling good,
Yeah.
healthy, and loved? Because if
Yep.
you, in the world of triathlon, it gets a negative connotation in respect to like, good luck with your marriage if you're training for an Ironman because all of your
Yeah.
time is taken up by training.
Yeah.
Well, there's better ways, man. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure. Yep.
so, but people don't put up. They want to show you their food, but again, okay, well, did you poop today? Go back to pooping. I mean,
Yeah, right. It all goes back to
join me for
pooping.
a day in my life. Okay, cool, man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, all right, so I think we are kind of getting at like the hour mark. Went pretty quick. I would agree. Yes,
It went so fast. This was
so fast,
fun.
dude. Yeah, it is fun. We'll do it again, dude. I like this. But as before, I need to throw those couple questions for you.
Please do. I'm going to
So,
see if I can get any better answers.
okay, so first one is say you're in a coma. Okay, you're in a coma and your family is all, you know, they're ready to pull the plug and they're like, all right, we have one more chance to take Seth out of this coma. We know he loves music. What is that one song that we can play for him where he's going to snap right out of it and he's going to come to and he's going to remember where he is and he's going to keep on fighting? What's that one song? Could be guilty pleasure,
Ugh.
could be whatever you want. What's that one song that you
So
choose?
the one song, good, bad, or otherwise, that I've always loved has been "Have You Ever Seen the Rain" by Creedence Clearwater
Oh,
Revival.
hell yeah, dude. Dude, that
That
one's
just, I
sick.
don't know, for some reason, of all the classic rock that my dad
Yeah,
exposed me to, and as
sure.
annoying and frustrating as it was as a young child, like, the absolute appreciation has grown. But that song, for some reason, I've
Hmm.
always had something in my heart for.
Oh yeah, dude, it's a great song. John Fogerty is amazing. Credence was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That is a perfect one to pick. Um, yeah, good answer, bud. So other than that, I like to play the desert island game. Like, let's say you're stuck on a desert island and you're going to be on this desert island for the rest of your life. It's just you. All you have is stuff to help you survive, eat, drink, yeah, all that stuff. But you can only bring three musical artists to listen to for the rest of your life. Now, when I say you get to choose three, you get it could be a band, could be a solo artist, could be whatever. But you get all of their live stuff, everything they've ever done. Say they're part of a band, you get that band, and if say they go solo, you get all of their solo stuff too. So it's the whole collection. Who are the three that you're choosing?
Man. Um, I said this one the last time, and because when you and I did this the first time, even though it got
Uh-huh.
really terrible and we
Yeah,
get kept getting cut off and all, I liked.
sure.
See, you and I grew up in the era of the Wu-Tang Clan. I
Goddamn
would
right.
take I would take that, and I was stoked to see them get a nomination into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for this year.
Yeah.
So I would
Oh,
take
for
those
sure,
guys.
dude. Way,
Um,
way ahead of their time too. Wu Tang, dude.
yeah.
Like way ahead of their time. So good.
Secondarily, I think you'd be remiss if you didn't say, and you and I talked about this as well, was like the Beatles, just
Oh,
because
yeah,
as a band, but then all of their individual stuff over the
sure.
years is
Oh yeah,
so. I mean, Paul McCartney, last I checked, is still making music to
for
some
sure. Yeah,
degree.
one of my
So
colleagues at work just went and saw him in Buffalo.
there you go.
He's 80 something years old, and he's coming out with a new album. Yeah, him and Ringo are both coming out with new albums. Um,
Unreal.
oh yeah, totally unreal. And like, whenever I think of like these three picks, it's not an easy question, and that's why I ask it. It's not
No.
an easy question by any means, and especially if you're very musically inclined. I like to look at it and be like, could I really go the rest of my life without hearing the Beatles ever again? Or
Yeah.
without hearing Elvis or without hearing this person or the Grateful Dead or what have you, And so you kind of have to get to that point. Like, dude, I kind of need to hear Eminem like in a lifetime. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? All right, who's your number three? Who we got?
Um, this one has rolled around for a while, but I saw something the other day, and John Baptiste, the pianist, who used to
Ooh,
be the the Late Show with Stephen Colbert's
yep.
house band, but
Mm-hmm.
John Baptiste has his own incredible career
Sure.
outside of that, and he's voiced things and written music for movies and all. But I love the piano. The man can sing. He can
Yep.
riff on anything. It's just I like music, so
Yeah. I think that's freaking awesome, dude. That is great, and it's out of left field, and I think that's a great pick. So, way to go,
mhm. So tell
rock
me
and
about
roll.
I was thinking about you and the fact you were supposed to go see Billy Strings,
Oh,
who
dude.
I watched something on last week or so, and it was
Oh, did you,
incredible. But
dude? He is
let's
incredible.
think back to like high school and Bella
Yeah.
Fleck and all.
Oh,
It's just
Bella
like a
Fleck and the
new
Flecktones. Yeah. Oh
iteration. Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's that that whole thing is kind of heartbreaking. I told you, you sent me a text. You're like, oh, I want to do the pod again, and I'm like, okay, we'll do it. And you're like, how's your week so far? I was like, actually, dude, my week kind of sucked. But
yeah,
yeah, you put a pretty positive spin on it, dude, because
yeah.
everything works out the way it's supposed to work out. Yeah.
Hmm.
So real quickly, as we wrap it up, let me just let everyone know the freaking story. So we my wife got us tickets to go see Billy Strings in West Virginia for a spring tour. And this is not something that we do. It's I know a lot of people maybe travel with bands and go around the country and see a band. Like, it's not in my wheelhouse, dude. I work all the time. That's what we do, and we're always like doing the right thing and just slaving away and like trying to provide the best life for our kids and keep a roof over the head, yada yada yada. But we're like, all right, I'm going to have some vacation. We'll take a week. She surprised me with the tickets. I had no idea she was doing it. Christmas morning, she's really good with like Canva and stuff like that. So she printed, because you don't really get tickets anymore. It's all
Yeah.
digital, you know? So she printed up, something cool. I probably have it like right here. I could, yeah. This is the one for when we're going to Hartford. She puts the picture, and then she does all of it, and and it's cool. It's something very cool. So that's what I opened on Christmas Day, and I was like in tears. It was like the greatest thing. And then my son, who's 27, has his own apartment with his girlfriend, is going to take our 14-year-old daughter for the week. It's all good, and we've squirreled away a little money. We're just going to drive down there. We're going to take our time. We're going to go down, and I am a Billy Strings fanboy, a fangirl when it comes to it. I follow him on social. Like every show, I pretty much watch. Like we have the Nugsnet app. I watch on Nugsnet. But if for some reason I fall asleep and I don't watch the whole thing, I'll watch it the next day. But I always look at his set list. So I wake up first thing in the morning after his Virginia show. He has Virginia, a couple of days off, and then he comes to West Virginia. So I look up, and I don't see his set list from the night before. I was like, dude, this is weird. Like he always has a set list as soon as I wake up. And I was like, no. So then I see a message from one of my buddies. His name's Matt. He goes, dude, Billy Strings broke his leg last night before the encore. I was like, no. Dude, 2 songs. We only needed him to play 2 songs, and then we were going to go and see him in West Virginia. That's it. It wasn't like he did it a couple days earlier. It wasn't like he did it earlier before the show started. No, he got through the whole goddamn show right before we were supposed to see him. And then, as as a skateboarder, the dude's a skater. Like that's what he does. He's always done it from a young age. You always see pictures of him riding his board back. And so earlier in the tour, he was in Tampa, and he went to the skate park in Tampa. You probably know the one.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. And so I see him with
Tampa,
a helmet, and I see him with elbow pads, and I'm like, dude, do not. Like I didn't have a great feeling about it, but I'm like, you got to let people live their life. You know what? He's a real person. He's not here for my enjoyment. So, but I got my fingers crossed. I'm like, don't get hurt. So he didn't get hurt, and then he went backstage getting ready for the encore, coming right out, decides to do a 180. I don't even think he was doing a kickflip. People say it was a kickflip, but I think it was just like a backside 180, and he just landed wrong, dude, and snapped his leg. Have you seen pictures of the break?
No. You have to send it to me after.
Oh, I'll send it to you. Yeah,
Gnarly.
and right after that, he had to put plates in and everything. So in the back of our minds, are like, okay, well, he hasn't rescheduled it, and then we think back to the Dave Grohl thing, and Dave Grohl played on a throne. He broke his foot at one point, and they made a throne with all these guitars coming off, and it was cool. So I was like, oh, maybe he'll just sit. Maybe it's not as bad as we think. And then later that day, he shows, the set list comes out, and there's a picture of his broken leg, and I was like, dude, it's like broken in 2 different places, like total reconstructive surgery. I mean, metal plates, screws, you name it, freaking the works. Like,
I want you to print that picture, have your wife print that picture off and put it with the tickets for what was supposed to be the show, so you can put it in a frame.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, well, this sucks. So we're still that Monday we were going to leave like late that Monday, and we're like, you know what? Why don't we just leave after Arya gets picked up by Landon and his girlfriend? We're just going to leave. We're going to go out, because we hadn't heard that he hadn't canceled yet. And right as we're about to leave, our bags are packed. All of a sudden he comes out and he says, unfortunately, everyone's telling me I shouldn't play and I should reschedule. And so they rescheduled our show for the 4th of August, which is great, which is cool, but this is the way our Summer of Billy goes, Seth. It was supposed to go the 22nd of April, go see him, take the week off, get rejuvenated, come back. And then we were going to see him on the 21st and the 22nd in Boston of July, then the 28th in Hartford of July, then the 31st and the 1st of August for my birthday up in Bethel. New York, Bethel Woods? You know that place? Yeah. So he's playing there. So after we go see him in Bethel, we come home on August 2nd, and then we got to get back out to West Virginia for August 4th. So we're like, I don't know how to do it, but we're still being hopeful that we're going to head out there and we're going to do it. But it'll truly be the summer of Billy if we can. If, we coined this
Man.
whole thing, Summer of Billy. We have all these shows lined up. It's what we do, it's what we like to do. Me and my wife both love him tremendously. And a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, it's just a concert. No, dude, it's not just a concert. Not to us, it's not. Billy Strings is different. We've seen him. We get something out of it. There's something about the way that music, and I think it's because, and my wife is like, she does like sound healing. She does Reiki, and
Yeah.
she does like sound healing with like the crystal bowls and tuning forks and stuff like that. And she was like, I know he tunes his music to a different hertz, and that's what helps you. That's what makes you feel good. And she actually looked it up, and he does. He tunes his music to a different hertz that apparently back in the day everyone used to play music at that hertz. And it's like why back in the day like church bells would make you feel good when you go into church, and it would just like kind of just like
Nice.
wash over your soul and just make you feel amazing. So that's the whole
Love it.
thing. That's why we're bummed. That's why we're depressed, but we're slowly getting over it. And we're gonna see if we
You'll
can
be
get out
there.
there for the 4th. Yeah, we'll be there.
You'll be there.
It's gonna happen. So it's all good.
Right on.
But all right, dude. Well, I want to thank you so much. We're past our hour point. This may have been the longest podcast yet. So you're in the record books. You're on Days with Davo Mount
take it.
Rushmore. We're gonna put you right up there, right next to Billy and me and my wife there. So we'll put you up there.
Where's Canada?
And,
I want Tim Canada up there.
Yeah. And we'll definitely next time you come to Mass, dude, we got to get together. All right.
We'll be doing it again soon.
All right. Awesome, dude.
All right, buddy.
I love you so much. Have a great day, and I appreciate this more than you know.
Love you too, brother. Thanks. I appreciate it, Dave. Talk to you soon.
Peace. Yeah.
Peace.